In a world of swords, arrows, and spears, dare to be a shield. The rebellion has begun. This might be the moment when we finally breach the gates of our own limitations. I've come to realize that I've never trained to be better than others. I trained myself to better myself. I've always felt different, not in a good way or a bad way, just different. And deep down, I knew I had to seek the truth. Who am I really? What am I truly capable of? And who waits hidden in the deepest corners of my soul? The brain is not only a physical organ, it is the seat of consciousness, thought, emotion, and action. What happens in the body affects the mind, and what happens in the mind shapes the body. Physical health and mental well-being are not separate. They are intimately bound, influencing one another in ways we still don't fully understand. The body is more than muscle and bone. It's an extension of identity. Through posture, movement, and presence, we speak before we even open our mouths. The body is how we face the world and how the world sees us. So when it comes to the muscles, when you push yourself past the gates of safety and beyond the walls of comfort, you don't just build strength, you discover an entire world of possibility, of beauty, of greatness. The ceilings that once held you down, they begin to crack. A master. Much more than skill it is. Knowledge, yes. Technique, yes. But deeper still, mastery goes. Fall he must. Rise again. Stronger he becomes. Control he has. Not of others, but of self. Learn always a master does, and in humility, true greatness he finds. Looking back at how far I've come in life, I realize that greatness doesn't reside in how much you want or how much you have, but in how much you give from what you do have. Waiting for billionaires to give their fortunes back to the world to save the poor is a story we often tell ourselves, a way to justify why we don't act, why we don't make a difference at a smaller scale in our own communities. You don't need to be the best to start something, but you do need to start something if you ever want to become the best. Look at yourself in the mirror. The person staring back at you needs you to be great. Your family needs you. Your city needs you. Your country needs you. The world needs people like you. It's time to awaken the full potential of every connection we have. Even with social media, time to send out a message that could end war, pain, suffering, injustice, famine, and drought. A message that could bring back the sun when there's only rain, and rain when the sun has dried the land. I don't know why, but I love every human being for the simple fact that they came into this world. No matter the color of their skin, the shape of their body, or the so-called imperfections society tries to label them with. I often sit back and reflect, and I see so many people fighting for the world to love them, to follow their ideology, to adopt their behaviors, to share their belief system, and I realize I'm no different. I wish that what I've discovered through arduous, daunting physical struggle could be shared. Not to prove I'm right, but because I believe it can help others find themselves the way I found pieces of me. I've always resonated with the quote, "It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war." You'll never see me train with the intent to harm innocent people. On the contrary, my purpose is to become strong enough to carry pain for them. If your neighbor needs help, You should be strong enough to lift the table for them. If kids want to play basketball, you should be able to show them how it's done, not just talk about it. I've been fortunate enough to meet great people who weren't allowed to be great because it would hurt the egos of smaller people who believe themselves to be great. I've come to terms with the fact that much of what you think you are, what you deserve, and which desires you pursue is a direct result of what others have told you throughout your life. Even a small negative experience can have the impact of a bomb in the mind of someone walking this fragile thread that we call existence. We once again need the great minds to speak and the empty ones to stay silent. The world today is filled with noise, voices without substance, opinions without understanding. In times like these, we must return to the wisdom of those who have seen the struggle, who have lived through the challenges, and who have the clarity to speak truth over the static. It is the great minds, the ones who have dedicated themselves to growth, to learning, to pushing the limits of their own potential, who have something of value to offer. It is these voices we need now more than ever. Voices that would challenge the status quo, that will drive us forward, and that would inspire us to become better. For too long, the loudest voices have not been the wisest. Too often, we are distracted by the trivial, the shallow, the temporary. But the world is at a crossroads. Our future depends on the depth of our thoughts, the integrity of our actions, and the wisdom we choose to follow. So let the great minds speak. Let those who have forged their understanding in the fires of experience, who have refined their knowledge through struggle, lead the way. And let the empty voices fade into the silence where they belong. For the time has come to listen, to learn, and to grow. In a world that's often feel divided, the power to create change begins within each of us. We are responsible not only for the choices we make, but for the energy we bring into the world. The actions we take, no matter how small, can ripple out, influencing those around us and creating the world we want to live in. But change doesn't come from waiting for someone else to lead or solve our problems. It comes from each of us, recognizing the power we have, taking ownership of our actions, and being accountable for the world we create. We must train our minds, strengthen our bodies, and elevate our spirits so that we are not only capable of surviving in this world, but shaping it for the better. And in this pursuit, we must remember the greatest strength is found in unity. The diverse threads that make up humanity are what gives us true power. When we come together, regardless of race, religion, or background, we are unstoppable. The time to act is now, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient. The world is waiting for those who dare to rise above fear, above self-doubt, and above the noise. The world is waiting for those who are ready to lead with courage, wisdom, and love for all. The forge is where identity is tested in the same way that metal is heated, hammered, and molded into something stronger and more useful. We too must face challenges that test our character. These trials shapes who we become. If we are willing to endure them with purpose, it's where we face our weaknesses, sharpen our resolve, and emerge with the ability to create positive change. In the individual sense, the forge is the inner struggle we face every day, the choice to grow, to push beyond your limits, to turn pain into strength, and to embrace the process of constant refinement. On a collective level, the forge represents the community that supports each other's growth. It's not just about the individual process of transformation, it's also about creating environments where others can grow alongside us. Unity forged in fire is stronger than that which is built in calm. When people come together in shared struggles, they are able to overcome far more than they ever could alone. The forge is where potential becomes power, a power that is not used for destruction, but for creation, not for division, but for unity. The world needs people who have been forged in this fire.